Hello, St. Thomas Academy, and welcome to the Cadet Football Channel. To my left is Coach Dan O'Brien, and I am Mike Maxwell, class of '84, and I work in the advancement department here. And Coach O'Brien and I are going to do a little Q&A about last week's football game against South St. Paul, and then we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming game with the school formerly known as Sibley, now known as Two Rivers. So, before we get going, I want to just ask you to subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell so that you can get notified of the next episode when it is posted. So, all right, Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks,
glad to have you.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. So this should be fun. So let's just jump right into last week's game. You opened with South St. Paul, and a team we hadn't played actually since 2016. Am I correct on that?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's been a while. You came away with the W. Let's hear your assessment of the first game of the year.
Well, it was a hard fought physical game. And now this was my first time playing against a South St. Paul team. I had heard about the rivalry. In fact, I had heard that the last 3 times St. Thomas Academy had played South St. Paul had beat us. So I was expecting to go in and for it to be real physical. I was expecting that to play in a really cool stadium for those guys that have played in that stadium. It's a great environment, but it was exactly what I was warned. The grass was going to be long, the field was wet, and our kids fought, and their kids fought. I mean, we were hitting each other pretty good. And at the end of the day, I was really proud of our kids. I thought in the fourth quarter that when the chips were down, our kids wanted it a little bit more than they did. So pleased with that. I was pleased. We're young. Mike, we have 8 new starters on offense and 8 new starters on defense, and sometimes we forget. We just have kind of high expectations. But they fought, they played well, and it was great to come out of there with the win. Lots of things we need to clean up for this week and moving forward, but it's nice to come out of there with the W.
It's always a good to get that win. So especially right away, beginning of the season. So tell me about that. You've got essentially 16 new kids playing on your varsity. How do you prepare a young man to for that first varsity experience and playing under the lights and all that?
Well, you can only do so much, and you can tell them, you can try, and you can prepare. But they have to kind of go through it and experience it. It's like being a father the first time. We're both fathers, and you read the books and you do all those things. But when the book tells you to do this, but the baby's not doing that, that's kind of how a football game is. They don't always do exactly how they line up or what we tell them that they're going to do when we practice 4 days a week. So they kind of have to experience it. A couple of things, we work real hard in the summer. There's a conditioning aspect, I think, that showed a little bit, so we try to do some mental training and some mental toughness pieces in the summer. And one of the things I think is helpful is we have an inter-squad scrimmage where we invite family and friends that second week of our camp, our summer camp. We do it under the lights, we do it with officials, and so that's a little bit game-like. Yep. No coaches are on the field, and I think that's helpful too, but it's kind of, you got to live and learn it a little bit.
Yeah. I remember that from my playing days. That first game, you're a little nervous, and then that first hit, you acclimate pretty quick.
Sure, yeah.
That's good. Any pleasant surprises from your new personnel?
Well, I think there's a couple sophomores that stood out a little bit. We had a sophomore tailback, Savion Lopez, had a nice game. He had 160 yards rushing, was critical, and he seemed to get better as the game went on. I think he was one of those kids that earlier on was a little nervous, a little bit. He was dancing with his feet a little bit. The second half, he was a straight downhill runner, which was great to see. We've got a sophomore offensive tackle, and again, we're replacing 4 out of the 5 offensive starters on the offensive line. So Teddy Knapp was a new guy that played well. Has surprised us all fall so far. So we're excited about him. Got to get some weight on him. He's pretty thin right now. So those would be a couple of guys that I think stood out, and some of our older guys who we expected to play well. Leo Bloom played real well, played both ways for us, and we had a couple of guys on defense that played well as well.
Good, great. What are the 1 or 2 things you need to work on this week as a team?
Well, I would tell you first and foremost, the things that bothered me the most were we had some mental mistakes. We had 2 times where we jumped off sides. That shouldn't happen, and it can't happen. Good teams don't make those kind of mistakes. We had a play where we played with 10 guys. we had a special team situation where one of our guys didn't come off with a special team when he needed to. We had to burn a timeout. So I would say number one, the mental mistakes, we got to get those pieces cleaned up. Secondly, we need to throw the ball better. I think we were 5 for 15, which is 33%. That's not going to cut it. So we've got to, I would look at those two things, Mike, as the things that we want to focus on this week.
Okay, good. I'm sure you got that under control. So as I mentioned before, your next opponent is the school formerly known as Sibley, and so Two Rivers High School is going to come into Jerry Brown Stadium here on Thursday night, correct?
Yeah, unique Thursday night game.
Yeah, so they dropped their opening game to Tartan. I think it was 29-22. What are you expecting from the crosstown rival Warriors?
Well, I think when we play Sibley, Two Rivers, that you can kind of throw the records out a little bit. The crosstown rival, I think, will be one of those games. Again, will be similar to South St. Paul. Will be real physical. All these guys know one another. They played together growing up in the Mendota Heights Athletic Association, and you know they were being good friends now. But it'll be a very competitive game. They gave us trouble. We played them twice last year, and they gave us trouble in both games where at halftime nobody was comfortable. So I would expect the same thing. I expect that it's going to be a close game. We're young, we're inexperienced. They've got some kids back. They got a real nice running back that I think is good. They've got a receiver that I think is fast that can give us some trouble. So I would expect it'll be a close game, Mike.
Okay. So any other standout players that have you concerned, or maybe thinking of some different schemes or anything like that?
Well, they've got one defensive lineman I think that we'll try to do some things with. That we're going to have to make sure we get some double teams on him. And the running back, the quarterback is elusive, not real big, but elusive, and he can hurt you with his feet. So we're just going to have to play good, solid, sound defense, and on offense, we're going to have to continue to be able to run the ball, and hopefully we'll throw the ball a little bit better.
Okay. Anything you're hoping to see from our cadets as they take the field for their first home game?
Well, I want to see a little bit of maturity. I want to see some of the experience that we gained last week pay off. I want to see us continue to be physical. I was pleased with how physical we were last week. I want to see that continue. I'd like to see us tackle a little bit better on defense. I thought first half, when the balls started to fly, we missed a couple tackles that I felt like we should have made. So I want to eliminate those things and see just a good team effort with guys being good teammates.
All right. Well, looking forward to a good game. Coach, thanks for taking time to answer a few questions. This is something that we're going to try and do on a weekly basis. So again, if you hit that notification button, you'll be notified when we post the video to this YouTube page. So just a reminder, the Cadets play Two Rivers High School on Thursday night at Jerry Brown Stadium. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Tickets need to be purchased in advance, and we'll provide you with the link at the bottom here. And if you're unable to attend, you can watch it live at cadetbroadcast.com. Again, we'll share the link with you at the bottom of the screen. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Go Cadets!